No, you have to ask him. This is his book.
Have you read the other books?
Yeah,
Like there are
yeah.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Har du fått läsa den?
So, and what I wanted to say here in this class is that it's about coming home in some sense of way. And we can also what's that? Well, it's about your own self, your own identity, and all that. It's, for most people, it's mystical. What I have been saying to you is yourself or I, the identity, or whatever you call it, is tied to contextual reference, to your experience in the contextual reference. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens when you start to understand that you are more present now in your experience, denying that you have your experience at the same time, and don't understand this is working at all, still in spite inside your experience, and even in spite if I'm speaking English now, I'm smiling about it and all that, and you haven't come to terms to that you can actually have your experience, and be conscious about it. That's an override. And you still have the experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is no way out now. You can try your whole life to deny the fact that you don't understand how to do it. That's the most powerful force in the world. When you know how to do it, you can't stop doing it. You will try, maybe, oh, I'll try to feel bad for it. Try to go back to the old, it won't work. But I can do that, this, that, yeah, but I don't really understand how this is like. Your brain is like this thing we have that when we develop a new kind of experience where your identity is the experience, you choosing to have this kind of experience, you choosing to, this is my experience. You don't understand it, that's kind of normal because it's so fucking new. You don't even understand because your brain hasn't familiarized itself with the experience. It's like this guy, he's the flow man. My language to him has changed over the course of 2 days, 2.5 days. He's now the flow man. Yes?
Får jag ta det på svenska?
Ja.
Mycket inom det här new age så pratar man mycket om att det är kärlek och man ska vara kärlek och så. Kan man säga att kärlek är en upplevelse?
Ja.
Kan man?
Yeah. She was talking about love and new age and all that. And everything should be all about love, like the Beatles, right? It worked very well for them, right? Ask John Lennon, but oh, you know, he's dead, I shot in the dark. All we need is love. Dun, 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 dun. They were high on drugs, by the way. We went to India and played, you know, the sutra, and they took drugs, smoked all that shit. And by the way, well, they have to share the message of love, you know, peace and love and understanding. And it's true in some way, but what people doesn't do just experience of love. What they do is try to make it mean something in a specific, you have to do it in a specific way. And that's not what I'm talking about here. It's just you have your own experience and your own sense of this is me or this is my experience right now and this is how I express it. It doesn't mean that it has to meet some kind of rule or have to be in a specific way. It can be pure love also. That's one option. But it doesn't have to be that. So what people do in a lot of places is when you talk about love or other experience people have that, they also added some beliefs about how to express that. It has to be expressed in a specific way or else it doesn't work. So if you express love in the wrong way in the New Age circus, they will tell you that's not love. And you go like, well, kind of, it is love. And they go, no, it's not our love, they tell you, and all that. It's freaking amazing if you ask me something. When you do things like this, you know, people go, no, it's not true, because it has to be this, you know, it has to be like that. As I've been telling people here, if you're trying to do this mechanically, so some people do this exercise, right? That nothing happens. You know why now? You understand why nothing happens?
Yes.
You understand that? Yes. You understand if I just move my hand, nothing will happen, except that I move my hand. Okay. Talking English, I understand that also. So you have to add something to make this work. You have to have a connection to the vestibular or somatic progression when you're able to do this. And when you do that, you're actually producing or manufacturing the experience. When you're able to do that, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to learn. Because when you can feel that, see the muscles move without seeing them, the world opens up. And it's all become possibility now. You understand that? So that this is just your first boot camp, if you so like. But when you start to understand that I can keep going with this experience for 3, 4, 5, 6 days, after a while you go like, oh, this must be the way things are. And then you start to develop the beliefs and perception. And soon later, your brain goes like, oh, this is my reality now. And it will check your reality every time you wake up. I want to move on. And one guy asked me about this, what I was doing. So I asked him a few questions in comparison to what's going to be there in your experience, what's not going to be there. So he shifted right there and right down. He woke up the next morning before he went to the next day workshop. And the first thing he was checking was the experience still there. Because he expected it to not be there. Why? Because what I was doing wasn't what Joseph was teaching. What Joseph Riggi was teaching them and yourself and all that stuff. What I was doing was not what he was doing. And Joseph told the guys, he told me also, I was showing them what I was doing, and people liked that better and understood that better than he was doing the same thing. I was showing people Fennecrist, people were like, whoa! And he was like, well, I've been doing that for like 4, 5, 10 years. Don't you get it? I mean, he's pretty good at stuff like this, language, calibration, precision hypnosis, stuff like that. Hello. Well, when you're blind, you're blind. It doesn't matter if you tell you you're blind, because you can't see. That's kind of fun, actually, if you ask me. So how come people can have the experience? Is it okay for you to sit in front of me? No? You sure about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can compel you if you want to. Really well. I don't know, I'm just teasing you. When people have the experience, right? And the experience, and they talk to you, and they tell you that they have the experience, they don't understand that they have the experience, even though they can feel it, they can have it and all that. Because when I'm back in 2003, when I was down with Joseph, I was able to listen to the experience of people, and the same thing happened. They couldn't understand, they just had experience. They, after a while, shifted to something else, and just deleted that they had experience, and they told me straight up the face. And I was going like, what's going on here? So I spent 8 years to find out why that's going on, so I could teach you guys. What he is doing now was impossible for me to do 5 years ago. But today it's easy. Piece of cake. And he was like, wow, what the fuck is going on, man? I'm the floor man now. Who am I now? Same thing will happen to you. You have to go for a few days to explore the options, what's going on, what your behavior is, what your communication is, how people react to this and all that stuff.
Yeah, and you pop in and out. I still pop in and out.
Yeah, sure.
Of that old.
It's not perfect.
No.
Because when it doesn't work, you wait and then you keep doing it. Because when you have a context, this is the amount of time your brain processing. How much of that context you are actually able to do is about your ability to maintain the same experience. You can maintain it for the rest of your life. Some people can that. You talk to some people that you just have the same experience. Doesn't matter, they always have it. And then you talk about the problems in life, and they go like, what do you mean? And you try to explain to them, and they go like, I don't understand it. They have no reference to that at all. For them, the world works differently. Yes?
But how do you get to that state
What state?
when nothing can affect you?
Well, things will always affect you. But you can have a choice about if you want to respond in that way or not. You will respond. So for example, if something happens, bad happens, you feel bad for some reason, yeah, sure, okay, I feel bad, I don't want to be that. Okay, why do I rank to that communication, or why do I rank in that way, or it doesn't matter, it's what kind of experience do I want to have in this context. And they go like, well, I want to have this kind of experience when that happens. And you start to elicit that and establish that. And sooner or later you understand that if you do that, the same thing happens again, it doesn't affect you. But you have to do the exercise, you have to train yourself to be able to do that, because you will get affected, obviously. I'm affected of all your people. I'm affected by the camera, by the way. Doesn't do anything, just filming. But I'm choosing to have my experience with you when I'm interacting like that. And you can choose to be your experience of flow, for example, as he has been doing. So you are flow, or you are your experience. If you are your experience, will things affect you then? No. So that's your answer. You can just be that, like you did now. That's the power. That's the human freedom, if you like. You can choose any other experience if you want to do that also. But since I have 3 days, I don't have time to do 50 different experiences. I choose one. So you can learn the process, you can experience it, and start to be able to do it and to understand how the cognitive functions work with Greco and how the somatic expression work and how they interact. And so some people, what's going on in the brain if you have the experience, you understand that you have the experience, but you can't really get it, that you have it, but like you do, right? Is it confusing for you?
Yeah.
Is it, why is it confusing?
Because I know I can have it, but I don't know when.
You can have it whatever you want, whenever you like, wherever if you so want. Or you can have it like any other experience. Nobody is ever going to take that away because it can't. You can start to define your life and experience in the way, basically in any way you want. And this is kind of hard for some people because they don't think, a lot of people think about getting stuff. But to get stuff, you first have to have experience generated before you start getting stuff. Because when you get stuff, then some people, spend their whole life for the Olympic Games or something like that, and they win a gold medal. And when they win a gold medal, they become depressed. And they ask themselves, is this it? Is nothing else? We had an Olympic gold medal back in 2000, a wrestler. He's dead now. Killed himself. He became clinically depressed and killed himself.
You're talking about having the experience, or having